Hey everyone, Joel Castro back doing more vlogs this time. Yeah, I will be posting episode 4 of Let's Play A Link to the Past onto my onto the Facebook Gamer Just Gamer group and onto my Soul Harvester 45 account. In which case, if you haven't already subscribed to it, please do it. If you're subscribed to me, subscribe to Soul Harvester 45 on YouTube to watch my Let's Play series of A Link to the Past. But today, for now, I want to review a game I just very recently got. And I got it from GameStop, used. I don't have the box art for it. I apologize. I only got the disc with like that generic black box that they give you. But the game I got recently is BioShock 2, the sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm here today to give my review of it. The long story short, it's good. It's a very good game. But it's not quite up to standard with the first game in a few important areas. In a lot of areas, BioShock 2 is a lot better than BioShock 1. Why? Well, let's talk about it. The story goes like this. It's set 10 years after the events of the first BioShock game. And you actually play not as a human, but as a Big Daddy. That, for me, was awesome to see. You play as a Big Daddy in this game. How can you go wrong with that? I've always wanted to be one of those big brutes, you know, just tearing everybody apart and stuff like that. You get to be one in this game. And the story goes, you had a little sister whose name is Eleanor Lamb. But instead her mommy came back and decided, hey, you know what? I don't want my daughter to be a little sister anymore. So, you know what? I'm going to take control of you, force you to shoot yourself in the head. You kind of do, but you wake up 10 years later and you discover not only is Eleanor Lamb alive, but she's trying to contact you. She's trying to get back with you. She still has this subtle mind control thing that they'd had with the little sisters in the first game. I'm not going to go too far into that, but your main mission is to get back with your little sister while trying to stay away from Sophia Lamb, the mother of your little sister. And that's the basis of this game. You know, you fight splicers, you go through Rapture. It's the same city, only it's a little more broken apart this time around because after 10 years in a city that's already falling apart, you'd think some places are going to actually be destroyed. Now, I want to talk about the gameplay first. It is tons better. You know how I said in my original review that the gameplay could have been improved if you could use the plasmids and your weapon at the same time? Well, in this one you can. You get to use your plasmids and whatever weapon you pick up throughout the game at the same time. You can shock somebody and then proceed to drill them in the face. Yeah, as a Big Daddy you can use the drill. Freaking drill! You need fuel for it since every weapon in the game basically needs some sort of ammo, but I love this. I love this mechanic. You have more enemies to take down this time, apart from your garden variety splicers that you find in the first game, and Big Daddies. You actually get to fight them again. But as a Big Daddy, you know, they're not as hard as they should be. You know, they're a little easier since you are one. But they have new ones like Brute Splicers, which are these big hulking splicers that are pretty difficult to beat. And these things called Big Sisters. They are little sisters that kind of grew up to be a teenager and get the same kind of suit and the same kind of weaponry that the Big Daddies use. They're a little tougher. They're more agile. They're faster. They're pretty damn strong. And I honestly think they're a bigger threat than the Daddies, just by a little bit. They feel the same, but they're a little nastier. The environments for this game, it's what you expect from BioShock. You know, it's what you expect from Rapture. I mean, things look more decrepit than usual, and there are a lot of texture issues that the first game had because, let's face it, the Unreal Engine is a little outdated at this time. But, you know, it's not so bad. The art direction is still fantastic. The graphics, again, they're not terrible. They're still really, really good. Even the character models look better this time around. They look a lot sharper. They're more crisp. It just looks better. It still feels like Rapture. The atmosphere still feels like the first game, which I think is a good thing. Now, in the other game, there was this like I don't know what the word for it is, but there was this feature that you could hack these turrets, these security cameras. They made it a lot easier this time around. Instead of having to move tubes in order to get this fluid from one area to another, it's more like a quick time game where you kind of have to react and get the arrow to the green spots in order to successfully hack it. If you get in the red spots, the security alarm goes off, and if you get in the white spots, you get shocked and you get hurt, and you could die. You could die if you fail too much in a really hard segment. It happens, but that's the cold hard truth of it. I find it a lot better. It's easier, it's faster, and you have this tool, hacking tool, where if you can't get to a certain spot that you kind of need to hack, in some areas you have to hack certain things like door controls, they give you this weapon that allows you to remote hack it from a distance. I thought that was really neat. Now, the characters in this game, they're a lot different. You have Sophia Lamb, who actually is the exact opposite of Andrew Ryan from the last game, where he wanted to have everyone, out for themselves, only work to better themselves. Sophia Lamb is a collectivist. She's more like a socialist, a communist. She wants everybody to work together for the common good. And she's also a very dangerous individual. She's not quite as fascinating as Andrew Ryan, but she's still pretty cool in her own right, She's cool. She has a British accent. She's pretty damn dangerous, and she can be pretty sinister at times. Listen to her dialogue in the game. She can be pretty damn scary. And then you have these other characters who are out to get you, like Frank Sinclair. He's basically your Atlas for this game, and he's a lot cooler. He's not gonna backstab you. He's not gonna backstab you in the game like in the last game. Yeah, spoilers. I know I'm spoiling the last game, but I kind of have to. But Sinclair, he's cool. And what helps is the voice acting. Again, the voice acting in this game, in both these games, is just phenomenal. And they really use good voice actors to their advantage, because you're finding a lot of audio diaries this time around, a lot more than in the other game. And I feel that the game could have relied a little less on this. But, it's nice to hear them every once in a while. Now, these are all the good things about this game. You have better gameplay, bigger enemy variety, if only a slightly bigger. The environments look a little sharper. Everything is just a little bit better. They tweaked on the formula of the gameplay. Now, the issues I have with the game. First off, there's some glitches. There were some glitches in BioShock 1, big deal. There's a few of them here. I don't know if they're any less or any more, but I think it's about the same. But, glitches never really bother me unless it's something that halts gameplay or that freezes the game for a little bit. But you don't get any of that in this game. Now, as a Big Daddy, you're walking around and you have this kind of helmet border around you. That actually kind of gets in the way for me. I don't know about a lot of you guys, but for me, it kind of got in the way. You have the option to turn it off from the options menu in the pause screen. So that just frees up the rest of the screen. It really, really helps, guys. If you're bothered by the helmet border, you can turn that off. The difficulty in this game is a lot harder because of the added gameplay variety, with plasmid, with your power-ups and your weapons being used at the same time. They ramped up the difficulty quite a bit. There are some segments where, even on easy, I freaking died. It's really challenging at times. It's not to the point where you're gonna really rage quit unless you're on hard mode, which in any case you'd rage quit anyway. But it's quite a bit harder. I welcome the challenge, but there are some segments where I'm like, ugh! I'm just gonna toss my controller into the back wall. And finally, the one thing that I'm having a problem with so far, I haven't beaten the game yet, but the story. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the story in this game is excellent. It's done very well. But it just feels recycled, almost. The moments that happen in the game, you feel like they happened in BioShock 1. It's a similar kind of formula. And it feels like a lot of the same. You're fighting off splicers, you're upgrading yourself. Nothing really ever gets done to hit a high note that the first game spent all its time just doing. High note, high note, high note, every act. I hear that the ending, which I'm almost at, I believe. I'm almost at the ending. I hear that the ending just blows everything out of the water and throws everything at you, making it just amazing. But it's taking its sweet time getting there. If a game is supposed to be better than the original in terms of story, they should do that from the beginning. You shouldn't have to wait so much for it. That is my main gripe. The story is just taking too long to get where it needs to go. Other than that, it's really well done. I like the writing of it. I like how interesting the characters are. I like the set. I like the revamped setting. I like some of the new gameplay mechanics. So far, this game has about an 8.5, if only for the very slow story and the harder difficulty. That's opposed to the 9.5 I gave the original BioShock. So, it's not a terrible game. It's a very good game. But it's just not what its predecessor was. It's not as strong. It's good. I love it. I recommend it. But, there's just a few problems that are going to get in the way. And I think that's about all I have to say on that. I urge you to pick up the game if you've ever played the first BioShock. And definitely play it before you play BioShock Infinite. I don't know how those two games are going to tie up to the third game, but if they'll stop delaying it so long, maybe we'll finally get to know. But until then, this is Joel Castro, signing off from his vlog. Have a good day, and make sure to stay tuned for episode 4 of A Link to the Past on my Soul Harvester 45 page. View, comment, subscribe, whatever. See you guys. Signing off.